Hey everyone, I just went out for some grocery shopping, and I just wanted to just stop the car, and just record a short video for you because I was thinking about this while driving home. There's a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing during this particular pandemic period, but I think really there are three things that we must be doing, okay, during this time. So here are the three things that I feel that every single one of us has to be doing. Number one is called morale. We really have got to keep our morale up. I mean, there's so many negative news that's coming out throughout the entire world that's already telling us, things are bad. So many people are being infected. Death rates are going up. The economy is crashing. But I think it's important that we keep our morale up. And that's in terms of positive thinking, positive actions. One quote comes to my mind by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust survivor. And he said this: when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are really challenged to change ourselves. So really utilize this time that we have to feed our mind, to keep our morale up. There's this, if you were to go online and you just type Harvard University free courses, and I'm blown away. During this period, there are actually about 65 free courses that you can be taking online from Harvard University, absolutely free. So why not utilize this time to keep your morale high, feed on positive actions, take one of those free courses and upgrade your mind. So that's the first thing, morale. Number two is what I would call method. Now, if you're running a business, a company, an enterprise, and if sales is severely affected, I get it. Sales is really the lifeblood of any business. But especially during this quarantine lockdown period, many businesses are being affected worldwide. I really want you to just go back to your roots and start thinking about this, okay? When you started the business, you had a grand vision, you had a grand mission. So here's the statement: your mission is sacred, but your method is not. Meaning to say, while your traditional way of doing business, meeting clients in an offline basis, while that can't be done during this period, you can absolutely switch things up. You can pivot around. You can move your business to an online way. You can start having online meetings on Zoom. So understand that your method must change, but your mission should remain the same. I'm reminded of a sentence by Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham is a marketing genius. And I had the privilege of speaking with him on the same stage many years back. And if there's one thing that Jay said that really impacted me, he said this. He said, if you have a product or a service that you feel can really add tremendous value to people, then you have a moral obligation to make sure that you get your product or service out to as many people as possible. So this is what I mean when I frame the second point up in terms of method. Try to switch up different methods to still get the business going, not just in terms of surviving the pandemic, but really thriving. My final point is stories. I want to talk a little bit about stories. Now, facts tell, but stories sell. I want to give you a couple of facts, but I also want to tell you a couple of stories surrounding these facts, okay? So it is a fact that in the global arena, a global recession occurs basically once every 10 to 12 years. Now, you can track this as far back as 1975 with the oil crisis. There was a stock market crash in 1987. There was the Asian financial crisis in 1998. There was the global financial crisis in 2008. And now we are experiencing a global recession in the year 2020. In fact, the chief economist of the IMF has already said that global growth for this year in 2020, initially the projection was plus 3.3%, but she has now said it would actually be negative 3%. So those are the facts, but what are the stories that we can remind ourselves surrounding these facts? Now, here's an interesting story for you. For every one of those recessions in those years, there have been billion-dollar enterprises or very successful companies that have been started. All right. So in terms of companies starting during those periods, in 1975, Microsoft started during the height of the oil crisis. In 1987, Huawei, billion-dollar company, started. In 1998, Google started. And in the year 2008, Airbnb started. Well, we're now in the year 2020, right? What could you start, friends, during this current crisis, this current pandemic, and make it a roaring success? You know, I was reading online. There was an interesting story about this 17-year-old teenager. His name is called Avi Schiffman. And Avi, what blew me away in this story was that Avi, in the middle of the pandemic, found that there was a need to aggregate all the different news of people who are being infected with COVID-19. So he built a website, I think it's called nCoV19 Live. He built it so successfully that today about 30 million daily visitors visit his website. What was so interesting, in this article that I read, an advertiser actually offered Avi $8 million to advertise and put his banner on his website, but Avi refused. You know, so good on him, man. But here's an example of, even during a crisis, a success story can come up. And I'm sure there's hundreds more if you will look for it. But more importantly, how does that apply to you? What can you do? What story will you tell during this COVID-19 that will apply to you? So those are the three things I thought I just want to record very quickly. The three things that we must do. Number one, morale. Number two, method. And number three, stories. All right, I hope you enjoyed that one. So during this period, one last thing to say, you know, it's not, tough situations never last, but tough people do. Okay, so chin up. We will ride through this together. God bless you. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.